Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you are well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories. And if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too, and let's crack on with today's first story. Much love guys. Now today's first story comes from the Am I the Arsehole here subreddit saying, would I be the arsehole if I don't show up to the bachelor party I specifically have said I don't want? I'm getting married in a little over a month. It's a small wedding, immediate family only. Less than 25 people on the guest list. Dinner after at a restaurant my fiancé likes. That's it. I've told everyone from the moment I got engaged that I do not want a bachelor party. I grew out of my party phase long ago and would rather spend my weekends with my fiancé and soon-to-be stepson than drinking and everything else a bachelor party entails. I thought everyone understood I didn't want one until yesterday. At Mother's Day yesterday, my sister let it slip to me that my dad asking me next weekend to come help him put his boat in the water is a cover story for a bachelor party him and my brother are throwing for me. She did it because she didn't want me unknowingly walking into an ambush. I was instantly absolutely furious, but I bottled it up because it was Mother's Day and I didn't want to make a scene on a day that was for my mum and grandma. Today, I sent my dad a text asking about helping with his boat and asking when I should come, etc. I said thanks and let him know after I helped with the boat I'd be going home due to commitments with my stepson. This was my way of not selling out my sister. He started saying no, I have to stay because he wants to take me out to dinner to say thank you and take me for a boat ride, etc. I said thanks, but no thanks. I don't care about boat rides and he knows that. I'll help with the boat, but then I have to go. He kept trying to convince me, but after being unsuccessful, he confessed to it being a cover story for a bachelor party. This is when the real conversation began. I told him in no uncertain terms that I don't want a bachelor party and also that I'm not coming to this planned bachelor party. I don't want one. I've been abundantly clear I don't want one and he should just cancel it. He said him and my brother had already bought food and drinks for the party. They'd invited my friends and everyone was excited and looking forward to it, so it was too far in to cancel it. Besides, if I come, I'll end up enjoying it, so why fight it? A good friend of mine from out of state is even flying in to attend. I then informed him they can enjoy their party, but I will not be coming. He called me selfish and that I should be grateful to have friends and family who want to do this for me. That I should come and enjoy myself because this isn't just about me. It's about all of them showing how happy they are for me for my wedding. I called my friend from out of state and told him to cancel his flight, to not come into town because I'm not having a bachelor party, and that I'm sorry people had told him I was. He said not to worry about it, but he was coming into town a couple of days early to see his newborn niece anyway. I made plans with him to get dinner the night of my bachelor party to make up for everyone else's inconvenience in him. My family have been texting me all day today about it being incredibly selfish of me to refuse to go to the party they spent so much time and effort planning. I feel like I made it really clear I didn't want this and they brought this on themselves. So would I be the arsehole here if I go through with my plan to no-show my own bachelor party? The top commenter was said, I'd rather be grateful for friends and family that listen to me when I say I do not want a bachelor party. Another commenter said, info. You know the word party doesn't exclusively mean getting rowdy and wasted, right? It can mean just spending time with people who love you and enjoy your company. A reply from OP said, they're planning basically a kegger on a lake. This is a get wasted party. Never heard the term kegger before. I'm assuming it's just drinking beer from a keg. Yeah, and I just did a Google. It's basically drinking beer from a keg. I don't know why I thought anything different. The absolute irony of these people to keep calling OP selfish while ignoring what he actually wants. A bachelor party is supposed to be to celebrate the groom, not force him into a night he repeatedly said he didn't want, just because everyone else thinks they know better and they basically just want an excuse to get wasted, right? Because the line, this isn't just about you, says everything. It stopped being about celebrating him the second they decided his boundaries didn't matter. If they wanted a guy's night on a boat with drinks and food, they could have just planned one without disguising it as a surprise for someone who clearly said no from the very beginning. And good on the sister for warning him too. At least someone's in OP's corner, right? First commenter says to OP, props to you man, not the arsehole. Total respect that you stand up for yourself. Southern says, not the arsehole. Enjoy dinner with your friend. It's not your fault they spent money on something you specifically said you don't want. They can eat the food and drink whatever they brought to drink. You don't have to go. I feel the same way as you about party days being over. It seems immature to me to get together with a bunch of people to get drunk. That's not fun to me. That was really cool of your sister to tip you off, and cool of you not to throw your sister under the bus, and cool of you not to ruin Mother's Day for your mum and grandma after finding out what the plan was. Congratulations on your upcoming wedding. The commenter said, not the arsehole. They're not respecting your wishes and they're trying to stronghold you to attend something you are abundantly clear you did not want. Your sister and your friend are amazing, and so are you for covering for your sister and not potentially getting her into trouble by your unreasonable family. Opie did reply and said, my sister isn't actually on my side. She thinks I should go. She just told me because she feared my reaction to walking into the party, not knowing about it in advance, would have caused an even bigger problem due to my reaction to it. A commenter says, to all the people calling OP the arsehole, a man tells a woman that he would like to go on a date with her. She tells him up front that she does not want to. He presses and she then insists that she doesn't want to go on a date with him now or ever. She makes that clear, but he then goes and secretly plans a date for them and goes all out, even gets them a hotel room. Is she now the arsehole for still refusing to go on this date with this man? I mean, after all, he just cares about her and wants to spend time with her, and invested all this money in planning. Consent matters. No means no, not the arsehole. Opie says, oh, you went there, and I love it. So Opie did come in with an update and said, long story short, the party is off and my dad is pretty pissed about it. Last night, when I got home from work, my fiancée asked me how things were going with my family. Her mum was over, so I told her what was going on. My future mother-in-law's first reaction was, are they nuts? We talked about it and she told me I absolutely shouldn't go. I should let my friends know that I wasn't going to be there so they don't go there and are disappointed when I'm not. I took her advice and texted some friends that I figured got invites to let them know the bachelor party was never cleared with me and I wouldn't be there, but if they still wanted to go there and party, then to have at it. They helped me figure out other people who were invited and I let them all know too. Pretty much all of them understood and were cool about it. A couple of them I have plans with soon anyway, so we said we'll just see each other then. Some of them I had no plans with, but we made plans for other days in the next couple of months. Others we made no plans, but they seemed cool. Apparently pretty much none of them were wanting to go to the party if I wasn't going to be there because I got an irate call from my dad asking me why I got a bunch of calls and texts from people saying they weren't coming to the party because I wasn't going to be there. I told him, well, that's because I'm not going to be there, like I told you a couple of days ago, and I figured people should know since this was supposed to be my bachelor party that the bachelor wasn't going to be there. He said he's had enough of my anti-social crap and demanded I be there. I said no. He then said he was planning on paying for my after-wedding dinner, but now wouldn't to make up for the money he wasted on this party. I said that was fine because I already paid for the dinner months ago when we booked the dinner with the venue. He then said fine, it's going to come out of my wedding present fine. I was like, we don't need your wedding present, but if that makes you feel better, then fine, go for it. My brother and sister both sent me texts basically saying I should have just gone and sucked it up. My brother mentioned being out some money himself because of this. I said maybe next time you'll learn to think for yourself instead of blindly following our dad's orders all the time. That shut him up. My mom has been suspiciously silent about all of it. I did talk to her today, but the subject never came up. That's pretty much it. I'm going to enjoy a nice night with my fiancée and her son tomorrow night and go to his soccer game. Saturday, my buddy and I changed plans. Instead of dinner, we're going to my local MLB teams game instead since it's a day game and we found decent tickets pretty cheap. Ugh, the dad's reaction to this, threatening to withhold wedding gifts and pretending he paid for the dinner when Opie had already covered it himself. Just felt even more like he didn't even want to celebrate his son, he just wanted a party for himself basically. I did love the way that Opie shut him down every single time in the update so he had nowhere to go. Absolutely masterclass, but what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below and let's move on to another story. Now, our next story was on the best of Redditor updates from Popular Truth 88, who says people threw a party for my parents to celebrate my new baby, and I wasn't invited. And it has a 3-year update as well. Just to give you some warnings before we do get into the story, there is threats of violence, mentions of domestic violence and abuse, so if you do want to skip it, please feel free to do so. Timestamps are always down in the description and along the timeline below. Thank you. I, 24 female, am 9 months pregnant and due any day now, and I just got news that a group of my parent friends threw a party for them to celebrate the upcoming birth of my first child, their first grandchild. My parents and I have a strained relationship as it is, especially considering my sister, 22 female, and I were at their house 3 days ago. My sister threatened to kick my stomach in an attempt to injure my baby, and they didn't do anything about it. This is just one example of my parents being awful at actually raising their children and creating a safe environment in their home. I'd planned to stay with my parents right after giving birth to get assistance from my mother, 59 female. But I've recently seriously questioned that decision, as I just don't know that we'd be safe there if my sister and her dog, that has bitten me before, are there. I've informed my mother that I'm unsure of this decision under the recent circumstances, and she has done nothing but throw an attitude and imply that I'm overreacting because my sister is her child too, so I must understand that they won't kick her out. After this recent event, I have limited/cut contact with my parents out of frustration and fear of my child's safety. But tonight, my mother texted me a picture and showed a party that her friends threw for her and my father, 59 male, were becoming grandparents, including gifts for them and nothing for my baby. And I wasn't even invited. Am I wrong to feel like they're stealing my thunder and enjoying undeserved attention, especially given how they are terrible parents that refuse to create a safe and loving environment for my new child to be welcomed into? My husband, 26 male, and I are now considering staying with my in-laws immediately after birth because at least we know our son will be safe and cared for there, even though it will absolutely piss off my mother. My mother-in-law is also the one who threw me a baby shower and has taken more care of me throughout my pregnancy. I guess I'm wondering, what does Reddit think I should do in this situation regarding my parents, and where they think I should stay upon leaving the hospital, where we can get some help as first-time parents. Thanks in advance for the advice. The top commenter says to OP, okay, the party is the least of your concerns. That doesn't even register as anything next to someone in the household threatening to violently assault you and your unborn child. The owners of the household allowing and enabling a threat against a heavily pregnant woman living under their roof. The prospect of an aggressive animal that's already attacked you living in a household with a newborn. The knowledge that your parents are awful at raising children based on your own experience. It sounds like you come from an incredibly toxic household, which may be why you're still even considering living there and can't recognize how much you're underreacting. Your lack of normalcy and healthy family dynamics is incredibly skewed. That house is not safe, and you're about to have a newborn. Your child's safety should always be the priority. Pissing off your mother has nothing to do with anything. Do not base decisions that directly affect your child's well-being around other people's feelings. Your most important job after that kid is born is to protect them. That's it. Go live with a person that's shown you support in this pregnancy, has treated you kindly, and who will provide safety, love, and care for your child. OP replied saying thank you for really putting that into perspective and reaffirming that it's okay to upset my mother in order to protect my baby. The commenter says, yeah, screw your mum. Not sure why you're not no contact with her. She sounds awful. OP replied to him, believe it or not, she's the nice one in the family. Brother's currently in rehab, sister is borderline personality disorder who has threatened many times to hurt people, and dad was straight up abusive growing up, including leaving us duct taped in our rooms as punishment. What the fuck? Commenter says, and why'd you even keep in contact with them? I just don't understand how continuing a relationship with your parents after how you were treated would be wise for your child. As parents, you will come to understand very quickly what true love is, and I promise it will make it absolutely impossible to be around your parents. Because if you truly love your child, how could someone do that to them? Or be married to someone that duct taped their mouths shut? Opie says, honestly, I like my mother and was hoping one day they would step up and grow up and start treating me correctly, but they're doing what they've always done and enabling my siblings' awful behavior, and I've finally had enough. In regards to the duct tape, my mum was working and genuinely didn't know that he had done that. My father has been directly accused of doing this in front of my mother. She has apologized that she didn't stop it, but my father refused to acknowledge any wrongdoing on his part. OP on the sister's BPD. It's completely untreated and she refuses to take her meds. I don't trust her around my baby in general as she's always been overly aggressive, and I won't speak to her at all anymore unless she gets serious help. Commenter says you need to cut these assholes out of your life and the life of your child. They don't get a do-over baby. OP says, I feel that's exactly what they are looking for. A do-over. My mother has already tried to tell me what to do in regards to my son and setting up his nursery. Several ideas being outdated and unsafe, but when I argue, she says she raised us and we all survived, so he'll be fine. Commenter says, cut these people out of your life. Family isn't blood. Family is who you trust and who you love and who loves and cherishes you. Surviving isn't what our parents should want for us. Happiness and thriving is. Pardon my harsh language, but fuck them. They can get a new do-over baby. Opie says thank you for your honesty, and they might get a do-over soon. My sister is unhinged, and since she found out I'm pregnant has become jealous and said she's now off birth control. Lord knows if she gets pregnant her boyfriend isn't sticking around, and my parents will be depended on to help her. They can go fuck up her kid, lol. She will accomplish that either way, as she doesn't have a motherly bone in her body. Someone says, is Opie in therapy to deal with the unresolved issue she had with her family? Opie says, I'm in therapy to deal with the shit they put me through growing up. I recognize this stuff now after almost a year of getting help. I guess I was just bothered that they're getting any sort of attention or congratulations over a baby that isn't theirs, and that they aren't willing to protect when it's important. Like their poor actions don't deserve being rewarded or celebrated considering the circumstances. That being said, I should definitely be focused on giving birth and staying away from them, rather than letting a party upset me. It just annoyed me that they got gifts in a party while my baby got none from their friends, considering how awful they are. On why is OP and her husband staying at a different place rather than at home with a baby, OP says neither of us have experience with babies and there is a possibility of a C-section, which means I won't be able to do a whole lot for like a week afterwards. We also have a one-bedroom apartment, so someone staying in our place won't work unless we want almost 60-year-olds sleeping on a couch. We are also only planning on staying with someone for a really short time anyway. Please don't be so negative when I'm just trying to ask for help. A commenter says, OP, what made you even consider going to your parents and not your husband's parents in the first place? OP says 2 reasons. 1, my mother-in-law got sort of jealous and upset when we got married as I took her youngest baby away from her, and there were some enmeshment issues with her and my husband that have since been dealt with. She used to speak poorly of me to my husband until he sat her down and told her off, and that I was his wife and he had no intentions of distancing himself from me, so she could either be nice or he would distance himself from her. Since then, she's tried to at least be supportive, especially since finding out about the pregnancy. Bloody hell, OP's surrounded in this, right? OP continues, and 2, I hate feeling like a burden, so when my own mother offered help, I thought it'd be less stressful and I'd be more comfortable with her than asking a woman who used to dislike me for assistance. My mother-in-law has really done a 180 regarding my relationship with her son, and does seem to be so excited about the baby, so I'm definitely warming up to the idea of staying in a safe house where the baby at least will be loved and looked after. A commenter says, I think your mum threw herself at the party and probably claimed it was an anniversary party to get the gifts, because how would she have that active of petty friends to come up with it so fast? Opie says their anniversary isn't for another month. I don't know why her friends would do this, so I've never heard of a grandparent party before, but they have a sign and everything. And I'm absolutely with one of those first commenters, because the grandparents party is weird, but it's almost background noise compared to the abuse that OP suddenly casually reveals throughout the post. You got the sister who's threatening to kick a pregnant woman in the stomach, a father duct taping his children in their rooms. What the fuck? It's just all screaming abusive, unsafe family. But all not surprising how normalized it is for OP. We see this in so many stories. OP's grown up with this was their normal, so it's incredibly sad, and you can tell therapy is only just starting to help her realize how severe her upbringing actually was. The fact she was still considering bringing a newborn into the house, it just shows how abuse can distort someone like this in this way. It's just heartbreaking, it really is. And honestly, I really hope it happens, because the best thing OP can do for her son is exactly what she's starting to do, and that's breaking that cycle and keeping herself away from this absolute chaos and just building herself a healthy family environment for her own little family. But it was 13 months later that OP came in with an update and said husband once again leaving me home with a 1-year-old to go out with friends. My husband's brother, 31 male, we call him Aaron for this story, is in town with his girlfriend, 33 female. And asked my hubby, 27 male, we call him Greg, if he wanted to go to a comedy show in DC. Greg claims he thought it was just going to be him and his brother going and didn't invite me along. At the time I figured fair enough, it's brother's bonding time. Come to find out, his brother is bringing his girlfriend of around 6 months and 2 other friends, and I was never offered a ticket. Not sure if that's my husband's fault or his brother's. Anyway, now my Greg expects to leave me at home with our 1-year-old so we can go out with a group of people to drink and see this show while I'm stuck at home alone with a toddler and 5 months pregnant. Before anyone says anything, no, I wasn't admitted because I'm pregnant. We had dinner out last night and everyone was drinking but me and it was fine. Is this normal? I truly do not want him to go, or I want to be there. I don't think it's fair that I'm expected to watch our toddler while he goes out to have fun when I never get that opportunity. Greg went out to a concert last month with a different friend group and once again was left at home with the baby while he got shit-faced with his friends. I feel like I'm left to do all the parenting while he does whatever he wants. I don't think I should have to miss out, and if I don't get to go, then I don't think he should get to go either. Would I be the arsehole if I don't let him go? So then it was 2 years, 8 months after the original post that Opie came in with the update for my parents had a grandma shower without me and the baby and says, I wrote in probably 3 years ago, but a lot has happened since then. I was debating living with either my parents or my in-laws. I was on the fence because I knew my mother would physically help me in any way with the baby without needing to be asked, and because my mother-in-law and I had a rocky relationship at the start, but it has since recovered. One major aspect that pushed me to pick my in-laws was that my younger sister threatened to kick me in the stomach when I was 9 months pregnant with my son. Anyway, here's the update. We're moving to London. I've officially cut ties with my parents in every way, and here's the backstory that led to it all. I moved in with my in-laws and my beautiful baby boy arrived safely. I did continue to visit my parents for a while with the baby, but after they lied to me about my sister being busy and not coming to join us, she showed up anyway. I withdrew and would only see my parents if they came to me without my sister. I think my sister has met my son once, maybe twice, and both times it was a forced interaction. When my mother told my sister I was pregnant with my daughter, without my permission, she interrupted a FaceTime between my mother and I and demanded to know why I didn't tell her. I lied about keeping it quiet because I wasn't 12 weeks along yet and just avoided talking to her. A few months later, I pocket dialed her and she didn't answer. She then called me like 15 times and asked me about if I had gone into labor and if I needed her. I told her no, and that she wouldn't be coming to the hospital when it happened anyway. She cursed at me and told me I was a bad mother and that I should give my daughter up for adoption before I ruin her. That's when I cut all contact and blocked her number and all social media, and I haven't seen her in 2 years. My parents continued to push me to have a relationship with her and my drug addict brother, but never succeeded. My brother also moved back into my parents' house after his stint in rehab and brought his new girlfriend with him. This girl has done crazy things like physically fight my mother, who's in her 60s, and chase my brother around with a knife, so safe to say I'm glad I never bring my babies there. But I was still getting cell phone calls from both my parents venting about the situation and asking to see the kids. That's all being said, I've officially got no contact with my entire family. They threatened to drop me from their will. They cut my phone service and took my car off their insurance and demanded I sell it since my dad was a co-signer. I agreed to it and haven't spoken to them in over 6 months. I'm officially moving to London with my husband and our 2 beautiful children at the end of July, and I couldn't be happier. My in-laws have been a huge help and my marriage is the healthiest it's ever been. My life has done a full 180 and I feel more at peace without hearing horror stories from my parents or being pressured about the kids or being dragged into fights. We're spending the next few months packing up and planning some goodbye trips to our favourite places here before we go, and I'm so excited for a fresh start. I want to thank everyone for their previous advice, even those who spoke unkindly to me to give me the wake-up call I needed. My kids are safe and happy and healthy, and our lives are moving forward without the negativity, and it's been amazing. A commenter says, congratulations OP. Don't stress flying with your babies. I did it with 3 babies under 3. The youngest 2 had binkies that help with stability with the pressure change, and they slept through most of it. Giving them something to suck or chew on helps a lot with the air pressure changes. You got this. Opie says thank you for the helpful advice. Neither of my kids take pacifiers, but I can feed my 1-year-old and I'm sure I can give my 2-year-old something to eat or chew as well. I'll definitely keep this in mind as we're traveling. Thanks again for the helpful advice and kind words. A commenter says this is a great update. I'm so excited for you taking this overseas journey. It sounds amazing. Best of luck. Thank you. I'm excited too. It'd be great to start fresh in a new environment. My only concerns are an 8-hour flight with a 1- and 2-year-old and the sleep adjustment. So then people were talking about the issue that happened in the middle of this post with the husband and the drinking, etc. OP says, in one of your older posts you wrote about your husband leaving you at home alone with your child while you were pregnant often. That he would come home extremely drunk, not invite you out, and you didn't trust him to take care of your children alone for an extended period of time. Since you're moving to London, you'll be isolated without the proper support of your mother-in-law and other family members. I hope this equation improved and that you are able to move past it. Please keep focused on open communication and best of luck with your move and the rest of your life. Opie says it was always expected I stay at home with my son because I was pregnant, so it's not like I could drink or would want to be out late anyway. I think my husband believed that because he wasn't carrying the baby and because I was always just watching our son, that his life didn't have to change much after the baby. But after I had my daughter, my husband got 8 weeks of paternity leave, and he had to take care of my son the same way I do every day. And all of a sudden, it's like a switch flipped, and he got way more invested with our son and continues to be like that even after returning to work. He stopped viewing our son as an obligation he had to take care of and started to just enjoying being around him, and it made a world of difference. I even went to my friend's graduation party and was gone all evening, and he got the kids bathed, fed, and put to bed at a decent time, and even had leftover dinner plated for me. He has definitely matured and changed his mindset about me and the kids, and everything's going really well. Commenter says, has your husband stepped up helping with the children? Opie says, thankfully, he really has. A commenter questions it saying, oh, he cares when it's a son, but not a daughter. Does he help with both now? Opie says, I had my son first, honestly. I think what changed things was him getting to know his son instead of seeing him for an hour or two before or after work. I also think he's just not fond of the beginning stages where they can't sit or crawl or talk or play with you. He's been better about my daughter, he's been more invested in helping than when my son was a baby, but for those first few months he seemed to struggle. Without being able to actually connect with them, I think he has a hard time bonding. He's amazing with our son now, and he's more helpful with my daughter, so he's definitely turned a corner for the better. And I think it's fair to say on the back of this, a lot of people were still side-eyeing husband in this. You know, she was praising him for looking after his kids, bathing, feeding, and putting to bed at a decent time. It's like, this is low-level stuff, really. You're a dad, this is stuff you should be doing anyway. And some of the commenters are just saying that hopefully OP continues with therapy and basically no more kids. But how did this story make you feel? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Now, just a huge thank you for being here today, getting involved in the stories, your love, your support, your time. It always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much for being here. Hopefully, I'm going to see you in the next one. Take care and much love.
Wake up, get up, stretch my legs, eat some breakfast, milk and eggs, brush my teeth up, wash my face, throw my clothes on, start my day. Wake up, I can smell the smoke from the bacon. Let's go, see the sun shining from the windows.